once you guys confirm that you're in the building, we're gonna get into this. I must say, I think this was an upset in as much as I know we all believe that Tate, just like Jake Paul, is arranging these things to obviously make a buck, but also make himself look good. So this stuff is all shocking. This is for me breaking news. I just heard that Tate took this L. It is what it is. It get like that. But anyways, as we go through, please do use the information in the description of this video to support via Stripe, Link, PayPal, or Venmo. Send in your comments, questions, and we're going to talk about it. So I actually have the video right here, and it appears to be the real deal. So what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to watch it in real time and give you my reaction in real time. Obviously, I can't play it for you because of copyright issues, but what's really neat about this is that you're going to get my true, unadulterated, unbiased perspective because I've not seen it at all. I just heard that he got beat up, and I'm looking at that moment before they announce the winner when they say, and new heavyweight champ, right before then when everybody's holding up their hand as though they're the winner, like even though they damn sure are not the winner, they're trying to project confidence, even though the votes have already been cast by the judges. Well, looking at Tate right there, Brody looked like he got boom, boom, beep, beep, boom, 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 beep, beep, boom, beep. He looks like he got the beat. But I'm I'm not even speaking English because it's almost like looking at him. I feel like he feel discombobulated. And the truth of the matter is that it doesn't make him any less of a man. In fact, it makes him more of a man because he took his fate, and that's a beautiful thing. And more importantly, he took that bizag. He did. Yeah, it's all about the money, the monies. So he got pizzade. Now, do I want to get beat up for my to make my earnings? Hell nah, that looks not fun. But that's just me though. You did, I'm too pretty to be in there getting beat up to make a payday. I'd rather send abroad. You did. Anyways, also, like, bro has the most miniature shorts. Bro fading up in hoochie daddy shorts. Hey, do you though? Do you though, my boy? Do you? Y'all ever see Tate jump rope? And goddamn, nigga made me look in the mirror when I'm jump roping so I can do it more masculinely. I was like, good lord. But shout out to my boy Tate. Anyways, go ahead, take a look at this right now. Wow. So before the fight actually starts, they're showing a preview. And in the preview, just a little clip, one of those teaser clips, Tate looked exhausted. Now, that could be just getting beat on. Sometimes you get exhausted and then you get beat on. Okay. So here it is when he first walks in. I'm looking at his footwork and it's awkward. I don't want to say it's bad because people fight in different ways, but it looks awkward. It looks frankly bad. But I know Tate knows how to fight. So, anyways, he's pawing with the jab. The jab is not sharp, it's not strong, it's not educated, so to speak. He threw a 1-2, and the two landed. It landed flush. And you could tell neither of them are really crafty fighters, right? Like this is not like a Terrence Crawford kind of situation where you got a tactician in there. And let me rewind. I'm not going to miss anything. You dig? So they're both pawing with the jab. They look the same. Tate caught him on the chin to start with a right hand, and it was actually quite soft. The other dude, Chase, his hairstyle is terrible. Shout out to the bald head lovers. You dig? But his hairstyle is terrible. He should get beat up just solely for that. 100% for that hairstyle. He should get just maxed out. He got hit in the chin yet again. So the two most consequential punches were thrown by Tate, landed to the face. Dude has a decent jaw, but I also just think Tate isn't hitting with any power. Tate threw a body shot, which is good. Now Tate is easing off of the gas. It's like, bro, do what's working. Now he hit him with a body shot again. So right now, based on points, Tate is definitely winning. And the other dude is very awkward, like in not a good way. Some fighters are awkward in a way that makes it hard for you to hit them, hard to keep up with them. But Lil Buddy is awkward in a way that just looks like he ain't had no damn training. You did, like the nigga just showed up and laced up the gloves. Like, let me see what it do. Anyway, shout out to the people who hit the like button. I appreciate you. It's love out here, you dig? And I'm just rewinding this because I want to get every single piece of this, I'd be curious to know what walkout music that they came out to, but I got this muted so we don't have any copyright issues. I don't like the way they're pawing with the jab because neither of them seem to have the hand speed or the know-how to turn that pawing jab into a lethal force, like with like unexpectedly. And so basically it makes them more predictable. And both of them being awkward, both of them pawing with the jab from an orthodox stance, is like they're at some level mirrors of one another. As they say, fight styles make fights. Anyways, this kid has no deep. Both of them have terrible defense. Just looking at them to start with, both of them are very much so open. They don't have the kind of hand speed and reflexes that I would want to see from fighters who keep their hands down. So neither of them are slick. And I'm rewinding this a lot because bro said he walked out to a Mariah Carey Christmas song. Oh no, say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. I will not go. Turn the lights on. Carry me home. Na 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 na. Anyways, do send in your comments and questions because periodically I'll have to check because the internet from this fine five-star hotel is not working. I am, in fact, in a developing country, which the hotel is really gorgeous. Honestly, the hotel's gorgeous, but the internet's not working, and this is typical of these kinds of countries. So, it is to be expected. No worries there. But I say that to say I'm going to have to pause the fight to look and see what you guys are sending in. So either you can use the super chat feature if you so choose, or you can use the PayPal or Venmo, which is preferred because obviously I'm a guest on this channel. It's someone else's channel. It's a fan channel. And as well, it'll cut out the Google Corporation. But however you like, and I thank you to those who have at least hit the like button. It is appreciated. Okay, carrying on. I'm looking at the muscular. Tate always has good musculature. The other guy has good musculature and athletic physique. So, theoretically, they both should be able to bang. Pause. Turn up the brightness here. And I like how Tate started out because he started out, reasonably aggressive and throwing that two, pawing with the one, throwing the two. He certainly wasn't scoring any points with the one. And if I'm a guy like Tate fighting someone that's basically your size, maybe a little bit bigger, I want to stack up those points over time, not only because it's going to give you the decision in the event that you don't knock him out, and Tate's not a knockout fighter, but more importantly, it's going to wear the guy down over time. So the fact that they're doing all this pawing with the jab but not actually landing the jab, I don't like that at all. They both have atrocious defense. Neither of their hands are fast enough. They're not slick fighters. They don't have great head movement. In fact, there's no head movement. There's literally zero head movement. But anyways, defense is just out the window for these two. So this is round one. Usually people call that a feel out round. So that's what they're doing right now. And shout out to my moderators. Yes, indeed, hit that like button. Okay, so oh boy, Chase got tagged twice in the chin with soft shots. Then he got hit with 2 body shots. He's blocked 0 shots. He's dodged 0 shots. So Tate, in terms of the punches he's throwing with intention, has landed at 100%. You can do something with that. And he's investing in the body. He's hitting the rib cage and really, and then so Tate looks like he damn near had a lead led with a 2, which is beautiful. This kid Chase, he just gets beat on. Like right now, he seems like a skillless Mexican fighter. Very awkward. He's kind of like moving his hands like this, kind of putting them in the way. This is George Foreman style, which actually works reasonably well for Foreman. But still, Foreman would get tagged while he's doing that. Look at how Foreman was fighting against a young Evander Holyfield. These guys are exchanging punches. It's really like a sock 'em, bop 'em kind of thing. This is not the sweet science by any means. There's no science involved, and there's certainly no sweet movements. And this is not to say that I'm like a lot better than either of these guys. This is just in terms of professional boxing. This is not professional boxing by any means. It's very awkward in a bad way. Looks like Tate's mouth is open as well. Maybe that's just how his mouth, his bite sits, but it looks like his mouth is not clenched. He's not biting down on that mouthpiece. This Chase dude, I'd love to see Tate hit him with a double jab, not a feint, but a real double jab, follow it up with a good 2, and then bang him to the body with a hook. Like, I'd like to see some infighting because with guys like this, The infighting is going to be very critical when you're fighting people who have low skill. They don't feel comfortable in close quarters. Their infighting is going to be terrible. These guys have already demonstrated that they have no defense whatsoever. So as a result of that, infighting is going to benefit someone who's reasonably quick and certainly someone who's powerful. I want to infight both of these guys. You could also pick them off with a fast jab because they have no defense. I mean, they pretty much are open in every possible way. This fight, just based on this first round, it could go either way because neither of them have significant skill, hand speed, or defense, respectfully. Okay, and they're both fairly pensive. They seem to have a mutual. I don't know if it's a respect for the other person or just like a fear of this not being what they really do. I know the Chase guy supposedly is a fighter, but like not really. And he's circling his jab hand like this, and this could be strategic. This is something that black fighters often will do. It's more of a rhythm thing. You would have seen Sugar Ray do this. Sugar Ray Leonard do this. Um, and these boys are landing punches, which is good for entertainment. It's definitely good for entertainment. I don't know how the sell of the fight went because it appears, and by mind you, if you ask a question, I don't answer it. That doesn't mean I didn't see it. That means that you need to come in via PayPal or PayPal or Super Chat, and then we'll answer the question. Otherwise, you're not a serious person. That's okay. But don't spam the chat. Don't like mess up other people's viewing experience because you're a selfish person. Thank you. I don't teach that. I don't teach being selfish. I teach us to be good people and honorable men. Okay. So don't be selfish and spam the chat. Thank you. Now, one thing I'm noticing looking at this stadium, if you will, um, and I don't know if it's because people know Chase is not like a great boxer or what the reason is, but this does not seem to have the same level of attraction that the Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. Now, that could be because you have two big names. Anthony Joshua on his own is a star, Jake Paul on his own is a star. Whereas in this case, I don't think anybody ever heard of Chase before this fight was arranged. So that's probably why you don't see as many people in attendance. Furthermore, from a business standpoint, I don't think it was clever to schedule this after the Jake Paul fight, especially not soon after, which apparently it has been. It doesn't allow time for the news cycle to, make your thing exciting and promote it. I also don't think the promotion and the lead up was very good for this one. It wasn't very serious, in my opinion. So, anyways, here they are, and Chase is circling with that lead left hand. He's not doing it in any intelligent way. It seems as though he's shifting between different styles, none of which are effective. He's getting hit consistently with body punches. I'm assuming he's mixed too, because him and Tate look like the same color with different hair textures. These guys, Tate is a little more disciplined with his punching. This Chase guy, his hands, his punches are not coming out through the pipe. We say shoot it straight through the pipe, which is throw straight punches, throw the 1-2. Chase like looks really bad here, to be honest with you. So this first round is not even over. I'm giving it to Tate, and it looks like it wasn't hard. When you're boxing, you want to make the opponent uncomfortable. You want them to be thinking twice, doubting themselves. Tate is actually fighting reasonably well in this first round. I mean, he has no defense, but you don't need any because this guy can't punch. The competitor is not able to really punch. He appears to have no accuracy, no power, no technique. So I'm kind of wondering how things developed. I'm assuming it might have been a gas tank issue. But one thing you'll notice about amateur fighters is that when you throw a punch at them, they like kind of like react awkwardly as opposed to keeping your hands home and then slipping the punches, appropriately or even pull counter. This guy's reacting very awkwardly to Tate's punches, which means that Tate could double up a punch. He could double up the one. He could double up the two. He doesn't have hand speed to double up the two, but he could certainly double up the one, triple the jab, and throw some combinations. We're really dealing with one punches, one maybe a 1-2, and that's not boxing. That's not the sweet science, especially if you're not a power puncher. You really need to do punches and bunches. Shout out to Tate. He ducked a punch, which is not terribly hard because this kid throws the most slow punches on earth, but still shout out to Tate for that. And despite my commentary being seemingly harsh, we all know boxing is a lot harder when you're actually in the ring. Very easy to be critical from the bleachers, if you will. So Tate, I'd love to see the CompuBox on this. Tate seems to be landing very accurately when he's throwing punches. And in the clinch, neither of them are really maximizing on their strength. Neither of them are trying to bully each other. It seems as though there's no real meanness in this fight, which I like to see meanness. Even if you don't actually hate each other, at least when that leather starts flying, I really want to see some aggressiveness. Um, and it's like they're playing games. I see Chase like kind of like pitter pattering Tate's body as they're in the clutch, which is like, what are you doing, bro? Um, at least the ring card girl was bad. Body was garbage. Face was cool. That now we're in round two, and it looks like we're seeing more of the same. This kid Chase has no jab whatsoever, which is the most fundamental punch in boxing. You can win the fight strictly off of a good jab. Chase has no jab. Tate's jab is ineffective, but it looks like Tate is changing his. Ooh, Tate just got hit with three punches. And it's ironic that he got hit with three punches when I was saying Tate is changing. At that point, Tate has stopped. Tate stopped with the pawing jab, which was basically a tool to blind the other guy and kind of keep control of the guy's lead hand, which is to say his jab. And as soon as Tate started holding his hand down, so instead of pawing with the jab like this, even ineffectively, just keeping it in the way, Tate's hand was in this position, which is a weird position. This is not a boxing position. You know, if you're in the Philly shell, cool, here we are. That's a Philly shell. If you're in the traditional, okay, or if you're keeping your hands low. But Tate had his hand like this in a very awkward position, and sure enough, got pieced up shortly after that. Not effective punches, but punches that score. And, you know, truth be told, you get hit enough times with soft punches, you know, accumulation leads to termination. You dig? Yes, indeed. Let me rewind this a little bit. One thing I've not seen at all, no pull counters. I don't think either of them have the speed, technique, or training for that. I've not seen any punches slipped and then the person get countered. So there's no slip and punch. That's basic boxing, really. You're going to see people in the amateurs doing that effectively. These guys are essentially taking turns. Hey, you hit me. Okay, I'll hit you now. And that's not boxing. That's not boxing. So what I'm seeing here, you go into a decent gym in Cincinnati, in Las Vegas, in Miami, you're going to see sparring that's far more aggressive than this. And because their hands are so terrible, I think that what we saw at the end of the match was probably due to an accumulation of punches. What mere mortals can't comprehend is how rigorous it is to fight for 8 rounds, 9 rounds, 10 rounds. So right now we're still, it appears in the second round, we're seeing a little bit more hugging. Neither of them are punching during the clinch and in a serious way. These guys seem to not want to infight at all. And I think it's largely due to a lack of skill and training in that area. Infighting is a fine art. I saw Chase throw a decent jab at the end of round one. It was actually stiff and straight, so it shows you that he can do it. He came out in round two and he threw his first body punch. So he threw a body punch and landed it. Now we're seeing his lead hand be more active. It's moving fast, but it's not punching. He's circling it, which is just basically keeping it in the way. Tate is replying with a body shot. So he hit him with a body shot, then a jab to the head upstairs. Now he has his hand in that awkward position. He got tagged 3 times in the face. So Chase threw a combination, you might call it. Now that's funny because it almost seems as though Chase might have a game plan. Take counter it with a combination, and you can scarcely call it a combination because in actual fact, it was just like him mugging the guy. You know, it wasn't like when I say combination, I'm thinking of something where you hear that, you know, and it was beautifully put together. These are not quite combinations. These are niggas throwing punches. This is more like a brawl, what I'm seeing so far in the first 2 rounds. One thing I will acknowledge is that Chase's footwork appears to at least be decent. He's actually at least been trained with his footwork. I think his weight is a little bit too heavy on the front foot as opposed to the back foot. Probably why he doesn't have enough power on those punches. He ain't got enough mustard on that hot dog. Pause. So the good thing is that the punch output is reasonable as compared to say the Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua punch output was low. I just saw, as I said, Tate kind of like mugged the guy, and the ref is actually doing a good job. He's giving them the chance to fight out of the clinch, which I like. I like that, and they're not doing too much hugging. Now they're getting a little bit more aggressive in terms of the hugging, not even clinching, the hugging, and it's occurring more often. And often that's a sign of people reaching, beginning to get tired. Tate's left hand, his lead hand, his jab hand is increasingly low, and I think that's a sign of him being tired. And so, boxing is rigorous. He may not have properly trained for this. It's possible. That's what it looks like. Now, another thing with a guy like Tate, because he's been in a fight sport, I don't know if he hired a proper boxing coach, but what I'm seeing from him in this match, none of it speaks to high level professional boxing training. So that may be an impediment for Andrew Tate here. So here we are in round two, and I saw the Chase guy. It looks like he like reached out both of his hands and tried to grab Tate, but Tate was like at a distance. It was the most awkward thing I've seen in the sport of boxing. It's just like so like both of these guys could have been knocked out 10 times by now. I've not seen one single uppercut, and the uppercut is a difficult punch to land. The hook, you have to be very accurate. It's a power punch, but you got to be accurate. Amateurs are throwing the one and the two. They're working the jab. They're throwing the two. These are simple, easy punches. These guys have not thrown not one single uppercut. I've seen a couple hooks. Most of them didn't land, and it's just not the sweet science, and that's okay. That's okay. And I'm not trying to disrespect these guys, just analyzing what we're seeing in this bout here. So here we are, clean into the second round. I'm looking at the total bout. It seems to be under 20 minutes. I did see an elbow. It appears Tate hit this guy with an elbow. Did not appear to be intentional. And Tate doesn't even seem to have any real malice as he's in the ring. And I do want to see some malice. I want to see people fighting seriously. Finally, I'm seeing in the clinch. It's actually a clinch. Tate is holding the guy's arms so that he can't punch. So it's about time. And as they're hugging each other, it appears that the Chase guy seems to have more strength, or Tate is tired. And, when you're training, a lot of times in sparring, you're not clinching enough. You're not dealing with that aspect, the wrestling aspect of boxing. So now these guys are both getting sloppy. Tate just fell. Chase was throwing sloppy hooks that weren't landing, and then Tate fell down trying to clutch him. Very bad sign and very unprofessional, frankly, the number of times these guys are falling. Now we're in the third round. They had a different ring card girl, and she was badder than the first one. Still, her body was mid. Now they're hugging again, and Chase is kind of like tapping Tate's floating ribs in the hug, which is what boxers should be doing. Chase threw the most soft punch to Tate's solar plexus. Then he threw another punch, and Tate blocked it with like damn near a karate block. It wasn't even like a normal boxing block. It's like, yo, what is going on here? This is like, I'd love to hear the commentators on this. Of course, you got to remember that Tate is a part of the promotion. So he's a part of who's going to get hired and who's going to get paid. But to be honest with you, if the commentator was not highly critical of these guys, like he just wasn't being honest, because this is it's good action. So this is much better than the Anthony Joshua Jacob Paul fight, but it's not great boxing. It's good action. Like if you want to see a fight, this is a fight for sure. But it's not good boxing. Ooh, Tate just got hit in the jaw 2 times. He took it fairly well. None of these guys seem to be landing with intention, and that could be a gentleman's agreement, right? They're like, hey, we just doing business, like don't hurt nobody now, because no one's throwing with meanness. I'm not saying any hard punches. There's not been a single uppercut, no meaningful hooks. Tate looks tired. The other guy is throwing, he threw the jab. Tate ducked under it and grabbed him in a hug. So it's like, lots of hugging. The ref is staying out of the way. I think considering how sloppy they're fighting, the ref is doing a good job. Tate just got hit with 3 headshots, not surprising, because he has no damn defense, no head movement, and his feet are terrible. Chase's feet are but they at least look like boxing feet. Tate's feet are no good, and as Tate is getting hit in the head again, his legs are basically going like they're not reliable. It's not like they're going noodle because he's concussed. It's just that they're weak. He has weak legs. He just got hit in the chin. And Tate is kind of getting ragdolled in there, in between punches and being pushed around, like pushing punches. And the guy has his forehead under Tate's chin, right? Forearm under Tate's chin. Tate is definitely, you really got to be a good fanboy of Tate right now to say that he looks good right now, because he's not looking like a fighter. He's not looking like a guy who's been a champion in another combat sport. He does not appear to have that background during this fight right now. And that's disappointing. And I saw his ankle just buckle. So I don't think that's due to injury. I think that's just due to exhaustion. And I believe we're in the third round. And I'm not going to lie to you, you can be exhausted in the first round of a boxing match. So, but this is what people train for. And frankly, an amateur boxing match is 3 rounds. So to be tired, legitimately tired in the third round, reeks of you did not train properly. And I think that's because he didn't have the right people around him. I just couldn't imagine there being any other reason. The Chase dude is looking a little bit, starting to get a little bit tired as well, but nowhere near on the order of what Tate is. Right now they're wrestling. And again, this kind of stuff is exhausting. And if you didn't train for this at 9 out of 9, you did not. Tate just accidentally hit the guy with like a looping right hand hook. And Tate was looking at the ground while he threw the punch. It was one of those punches you throw in desperation when you're getting beat up in front of your girl. Now we're going into the 4th round, and Chase came out with energy. Tate is flat-footed. It's like he can't even move his legs. His legs appear to be lead. He just got biffed in the face. I saw his neck snap back. It wasn't a powerful jab, but it was a well-placed jab. And Tate is basically turning into a walking punching bag at this point. They're now in the clinch. This guy, Chase, is still punching Tate's floating ribs. Tate wasn't even punching back. That's a bad look. It appears that this kid's nose is bleeding right now, the Chase kid. I don't know if that's due to a headbutt, because Tate definitely is leading with his head at this point, and I've not seen Tate land anything real. So if I were Tate, you see some blood, let's go in for the kill. Let's get aggressive, especially that blood in the nose, because that's going to impact breathing. And being able to attack people's respiratory system in a cardio sport is really important. So Tate's face looks a little bit more optimistic, but his fighting is not matching up with that right now. Someone said easy win. He's 40. I don't know, bro. I was just watching the footage from our football game, and I was outrunning niggas, bro. Like I'm damn near. I don't know if Tate's 40. I'm not 40 myself, but I'm getting up there. And niggas was still looking like they was 18. So I think Tate can really actually get this done with proper training. So I think this could have been a good bout in terms of exercising skill, because these are both athletes, right? But the skill is not there. The action is there for sure. Like I wouldn't mind paying money to watch a fight like this. And shout out to Tate. He's still using the body. So he's still using his brain right now, which is beautiful. And a lot of times when you get tired, your brain shuts off. So Tate clearly still has that fight in him. He just ducked down and threw a punch, and it landed, knocked some sweat off this kid. But this kid is absolutely not affected by these punches. He's starting to push off Tate, and then he's getting aggressive with his punches. He has Tate in the corner right now, and Tate is now hugging him. So this kid, he has strength and he has resolve. The kid appears to be getting a little bit tired now. They're both in the clinch. They're exchanging some little punches, but no one has meanness in their punch. The kid's nose is bleeding. Tate's his back looks a little saggy, and that's important because fighters are going to carry much of their musculature in their back. The back of the shoulders is not going to be on the chest. Tate has a large chest. Clearly, he's pumping iron, but a boxer rarely is going to have a large chest. And maybe Tate has a little too much muscle, particularly in the wrong places. So I think his training regimen could have been more rigorous on the cardio side and on the muscular side. If he improved technique, he could get more power. And certainly he should have worked out his legs more as well, because his legs are clearly weak. There's no doubt about it. And when you're fighting people who are not very skilled, you're going to wrestle a lot. It's inevitable. And knowing that you're going to wrestle, you should be training for that in advance. You should be training with sparring partners who are bigger, who are going to bully you, who are going to try to throw you around. You should just be engaging in those grudge matches, because that's what's going to get you in position to be successful in a bout. So yeah, both of their legs are looking like jello right now, and it's not even from being concussed; it's just from being tired. I cannot tell you how many times these boys have hugged. It's like they're at a family reunion. It's actually quite bad. We're now 12 minutes in, so we got about 7 minutes left in this bout. And Tate just punched the kid in the back of the head during the clinch. The ref didn't say anything about it. They both just exchanged some headshots. So the pattern here is they take turns punching, and then they end up in a clinch. There have been no hard punches thrown. And when I say hard punches, I'm talking about punches where you're using leverage. You're punching from the feet. The strength of the punch is coming from the rotation of the body. You know, it's coming up from the soles of your freaking foot. You're rotating, you're really jamming it in. It's when you're in the gym and you're on the bag and like I'm not seeing any of that at all. So like this is these are girl punches. You heard me? Like these boys might be sexually attracted to one another. These are girl punches. Or it's just business. You heard me? I think we're in the fourth round right now. And again, they're hugging. Uh, maybe this is a Tinder date. We're watching a Tinder date. We don't even know it. They're hugging again. And Chase is trying to push off Tate, whereas Tate is trying to hold the hug. He's trying to maintain the embrace. Generally, the one that's trying to push off is trying to get off. You know, if he's trying to push off, he's trying to throw some punches. And the one who's throwing punches is usually the aggressor. He's usually going to be favored by the judges. That's the one that's displaying ring generalship. He's trying to push off Tate. The one who's trying to engage in the hug is the one that's losing. Tate's still trying to hug him. The guy's trying to get a little bit of distance to get his punches off. And that's also an indicator of lack of skill. If you watch guys like James Toney, he can fight you inside of the pocket. And the reason he can fight you in the pocket is because he knows how to throw short, powerful punches. He knows how to move and shift his body weight so that he can sneak in the punch. I saw the very first uppercut. It was thrown by Chase. He missed by a mile because he didn't step with the uppercut. Me, when I'm training and when I'm teaching people, I like to step in with the punches because it's a moving target. It's mobile. It can be lateral. And he didn't step in with that uppercut. He missed by a mile. And I do mean a mile. But it's good to see him use a variety of punches. And now I just saw him throw a lead, a right hand lead, and he missed it. He started babbling at Tate before he threw the punch and missed it. His punches, this Chase kid, his punches are getting super sloppy. Tate is very weak. He just pushed Tate down to the ground like a little kid. Apparently, he just took Tate's lunch money. Oh, God, he just landed an uppercut, hit Tate in the jaw with that uppercut. And Tate, I'm not going to say he ate it. He didn't eat it in the sense of like Scooby snacks. He ate it in the sense of like, damn, you hear me? You're overeating right now. So right now, Chase is taking over the fight. He's dominating. Tate just fell. And it was not from one solid punch, it's from a combination. Tate's just trying to hold on. If I was the referee right now, to be honest with you, I'd call the fight. I'm at about minute 14 minutes, 30 seconds. Tate is now bleeding from the eye. Chase is getting confident. He threw his third uppercut, missed it. Like he was so far away. But now he's throwing combinations. Tate is bleeding from the eye. And I would basically call this one because Tate is not counter punching. He's not protecting himself effectively. Tate just got hit with another uppercut. So it's an accumulation of punches. This is where your corner throws in the towel, especially if you're not a real boxer. It's like, why even waste your time? But, you know, it's ego and pride at this point. Tate by now has lost the fight pretty much on every metric. I heard the scorecards, and one of the scorecards came out even. That was ridiculous. This fight is not even. The fight is not anyone winning by a huge margin, but it's certainly not even. The Chase kid is dominating. There's just no doubt about that. It appears they're going into what must be the final round. Maybe it's the 8th round. Someone will have to let me know how many rounds they fought. Thank you to the folks who are hitting the like button for this excellent commentary. You know, the like button is free. You've not sent in $1. Hit the like button. So Tate is hugging again. And it's a good fight, though. It's a good fight. It's not the sweet signs, but it is a good fight. And at the very least, you'd hope to see a fight. So Tate's legs are gone. The Chase kid is still, he's still confident and arrogant. He's throwing punches while Tate is trying to grab, and he's punching Tate onto the ropes. Tate is now being backed into the corner. Tate is kind of throwing punches without looking at where they're going. And because this Chase kid has no head movement, periodically they land. I'd say about 20% of them. Tate just got hit with the uppercut. And this kid is not even setting up the uppercut, he's leading with the uppercut. And that's how bad Tate's defense is, and that's how exhausted Tate is. The kid's leading with a slow uppercut that is terribly thrown and landing probably about 30% of them. Now they're both tired. The kid is throwing lead right hands, and they're coming from down here. It's the worst boxing technique you'd ever want to see. Now, sometimes people who have talent of the body, blistering speed, they'll break the rules of boxing and they can get away with it. These guys need to obey the rules of boxing for a variety of reasons. So this kid Chase, you could tell his arms are tired. They're hanging low. He just threw a lead right hand and it landed flesh right on the jaw. Tate's on the ropes again. He's getting punched. He's now successfully grabbed. The ref has separated these guys, and the ref is keeping the action going because these guys don't know how to fight in the clinch. They don't know how to fight in the pocket. They don't know how to infight. So the ref is actually keeping the action really good. So there's a good amount of violence going on, and I appreciate that. They're hugging yet again. I know. I feel like I'm watching foreplay on some adult content right now. What's going on? These fellas right here. So now Chase is doing more of the holding, and he's holding Tate quite effectively. When Tate is holding Chase, Chase gets out of there. When Chase is holding Tate, Tate is pretty much stuck. But maybe it's because he's not trying to get out of there. Chase is throwing a lot more uppercuts. He didn't throw any of those in the first 2 rounds at all. So that may be confidence, comfort, being able to better assess the distance, and also trying to get Tate out of there potentially. I don't know how this guy usually fights. I know he usually fights not very well because I looked up a little bit of footage from him. It was terrible. So who knows, what level of strategy he's using. I don't know why his shorts look like they're pleather. I don't feel comfortable with that, but it is what it is, right? What can we do? Now they're hugging again. And let's see how they finish this out. It's always nice when guys really fight it out at the end. Tate is back on the ropes. They're hugging again. And like the guy slapping Tate's face with his glove. It's almost like he's like, knock, knock, doing a knock, knock joke. And that is the end of it. And now they're embracing. And then you get the final decision that Chase won the fight, which I agree with. I think that's pretty good on the judges. One judge called it even. That I don't know what pipe Brody was smoking on. He was smoking that good because there's just no way in hell that fight was even at all. It was definitely not even. Chase didn't put up a spectacular performance, but he did put up a dominant performance. It was very clear who was winning, if only by the amount of damage on their faces, respectively. That was an L for Tate, but he got the bag. So, what's half of an L? He did. He lost the fight, lost the battle, won the war. And we can't hate that at all. Me personally, I respect it. I wouldn't want to be in that situation, but hey, get your money, man. Flying private ain't cheap. You dig? So, do you. I don't know what Tate's bag looks like for this fight. Go ahead and hit the like button if you haven't already. Excuse me. Okay, looks like the internet's back online. Acknowledge 7. He writes, given that this new AI web dev course is tackling cutting edge technology of today, who would you recommend the first practicum course for? I recommend it for people who are ambitious, people who currently own a computer or a laptop. So if you can put those two things together, you'd probably want to take the course, if only to understand the world that you're actually in, and also to understand revenue models and understand where the economy is going, how the tools that you use on a regular basis in terms of software are about to change. I've always said before, software is the way to becoming super rich. It's a cheat code. When you look at the wealthiest people in our society, it's the software guys. Every now and then you might find a Warren Buffett or a Donald Trump, but it's mostly your Elon Musk. He's a software guy. Bill Gates, he's a software guy. Steve Jobs, he's a software guy. Mark Zuckerberg, he's a software guy. Shout out to Austin, who writes, Peace of the Saints. Sass and Yay area is going to be rolling deep this upcoming drip trip. Okay, I noticed that. Shout out to the folks who are coming to the drip trip. Get your tickets if you haven't. He writes, I know I unofficially won the last drip off. I'm ready to take that trophy home for the second year in a row representing Sass and SF. Listen, man, it was some serious drip last year. I can't say I can really give it definitively to anybody. Shout out to Anthony, comes in by Venmo, writes, Peace of the Saints, wondering when the AI course will be dropping, asking for all of the hustlers. Well, the course already dropped, but when does the practicum start? In approximately 10 days. I'll give everyone a heads up. And the good news about the practicum is that there's going to be mini sessions. If you took my last course on how to create and monetize your own app, there was many sessions. So if for some reason you miss one, you'll be able to replay it, but you'll be able to join a good number of them live. So no worries there, but it'll be in about 10 days from today. And so I'd advise you guys, if you haven't gotten the course and you want to be a part of it, you'd be wise to get it now so that when the practicum starts, you get the notification. So looking forward to it. I'll give you guys a little bit of time if you have any comments, questions, and then we'll go ahead and get out of here. And while we are here, while we got a little bit of time, feel free to hit that like button. We're almost at parity with the live viewers and the likes. And think about it this way. If you're 40 minutes in, you've been watching, you do like it. You're liking what you're seeing. So it'd probably be reasonable to hit the like. I always tell you guys, and this is just a piece of sage advice for your life. If you can do something that helps someone else, but it doesn't cost you anything or cost you very little, you should always do it. Put some goodwill in the bank. It'll be to your benefit. So I always teach that, and I practice that as well. I don't think we had anyone use a super chat, but I do want to thank the folks who used Venmo and PayPal. So thank you to the 2 folks who support this live stream. I appreciate you. And thank you to all the folks who are members. You really are the core of what I do. And thank you to those who are kind enough to hit the like button. Until next time, peace of the saints.